Welcome to Bristol Bay Native Corporation's podcast series, Mug Up with BBNC. Mug Up is a term commonly used in the Bristol Bay region, specifically in the fishing community. It refers to getting together with friends and family for a casual gathering over a warm cup of coffee or tea. It's all about sharing stories, experiences, and connecting with one another. In this podcast, hosted by BBNC's communications team, you'll hear from BBNC employees, community leaders, and passionate individuals who are engaged in BBNC's mission of enriching our Native way of life. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Mug Up with BBNC. I'm your host, Anise, and my co-host today is Kayla. We are part of the BBNC communications team. It's episode 10, Kayla.
Oh my gosh, we're in the double digits.
We made it. On our 10th episode, we will be interviewing past BBNC interns. Today we have Audrey Leonetti and Marissa Elkins. Audrey is here with us and Marissa is on virtually. Hi ladies.
Hey Annie.
So why don't you introduce yourself, and since it's Mug Up, why don't you tell me what your drink is today?
Waka winga atka ichpak koyana dialuchi, anaka cheesecook ataka Ivan Pitla, Magaluka Grace Poindexter, Apagaluka Al Poindexter, Chagyang Myung Unga. Hi, what's up? I'm Audrey. My parents are Ed and Crystal Leonetti, and my grandparents are Al and Grace Poindexter, and my family comes from Dillingham, but I was raised in Anchorage, and I live in Anchorage now.
What year did you do your internship, and what department were you interning in?
I was an intern last year in 2023, and I was the culture camp intern in shareholder development.
Awesome. And what's your drink? It looks fun.
It's a matcha latte from Kaladi Brothers.
Yum. I love a matcha. Me too. All right, Marissa, why don't you introduce yourself?
Winga Aka Amuk Kasatun Marissa Elkins. So Amuk is my given name, actually after my great-gram. My great-gram was Akalena Holstrom. My grandma is Susan Mitchell, and my whole family on that side lives in Naknek and Anchorage right now. But I actually grew up in Alabama my whole life, and I graduated with a bachelor's from the University of Alabama, and I was actually the intern in summer of 2021 in the communications department. And I'm focusing on hydration this afternoon.
Wow.
It's actually like an electrolyte drink mix.
Before we get into it, I love how you guys do your introductions in like your native language. How did you guys learn how to do that?
I learned at culture camp. So before I was a culture camp intern, I was a culture camp student. So I went when I was 17. And I learned it there, but I didn't really have it down until last year when I went back as a kind of sort of camp counselor intern combo.
Nice. It's awesome. It seems so effortless.
Oh, thank
and
you.
now I've noticed that you do it like every time you introduce yourself, which is the coolest thing ever. Mm-hmm. How about you, Marissa? Where did you learn to do your introduction?
We also learned at the culture camp. I went to the very first inaugural culture camp that we held in Igyagig. And I went as a video producer, and I recorded interviews of different students attending the camp, but I also got to be included in some of the events. So I learned how to do my introduction, and I was gifted a name, and we also did a lot of native song and dance, and I got to be included in that as well, which was a great experience for me.
I've never heard a bad thing about culture camp. Everyone that goes absolutely loves it. Okay, now that we've learned a little bit about you guys, what sparked your interest in these BBNC programs, and how was your experience?
So I was in between my junior and senior year of college, and I needed an internship already, and BBNC was just the perfect opportunity. I mean, BBNC has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. I remember being a child and being so excited when my mom got her shareholder checks. So it's always been something for me, and it was a great opportunity that came around, and it was also an opportunity for me to go to Alaska, leave Alabama, and learn more about my culture. So it all kind of fit together perfectly for me to be able to be an intern there.
That's really cool. That really was full circle for you.
Yeah, I wouldn't take anything that I did back, for sure.
Aw. We loved having Marissa as an intern. It was so fun. How about you?
I guess growing up in Anchorage, I wasn't as surrounded with my culture as I could have been, especially because my mom wasn't super connected just because of the history of boarding schools. So my great grandma wouldn't teach my grandma anything, and then she couldn't teach my mom. So I went to the culture camp to learn the language and really just be immersed in it. And then through the culture camp, I was like, wow, this is really cool. I want to go back. And then I think it was Butchie Lynn that reached out to me, and she was like, we have an internship program and we're actually opening a camp intern spot if you want to do that. So I applied. It was so great. I love it so much. And now I'm back this year as a camp counselor.
Cool.
Full circle.
All full circle. So during your time as an intern here, did you have any mentors or support systems that helped you navigate your time here and even after?
I feel like everyone in this shareholder development department, they're just it's like a bunch of aunties. It's just spending time with family all the time.
So cute.
Especially Rebecca and Butchie really helped me a lot, and I'll reach out to them during the school year and ask questions. Rebecca wrote me a recommendation letter this last year, and then I was asking Butchie a bunch of questions about careers and stuff. So yeah, there's definitely a very big support system within BBNC.
Yeah.
Aww.
What about you, Marissa?
Honestly, first and foremost, my family was a great support. Even though I was 4,000 miles away from home, we talked every day throughout the internship, so that really helped, especially being far away. But at BBNC, working with Carmel and Kayla was a great experience. I think that we made a good team, and they taught me a lot of skills that I still use to this day. And you two were very patient with me whenever I was still trying to get a hold of the flow of everything. So I really appreciated that. And also, Butchie Lynn, she was a really good contact for me through that, but she was also so much help with just getting the internship in order and getting all my flights and my living situation figured out. She was a great help. And even to this day, she'll answer any questions that I have for her, and I will message her on Facebook, actually, and she will answer me on there. So
I love that. Butchie is just a wealth of knowledge and so kind. And so
She also knows everybody.
very helpful.
Yeah.
And super funny.
He's so funny.
Oh, yeah, we love her.
No, I think it's cool, Marissa, that you lived in Alabama and you came up for an internship, and people do vice versa too. I mean, they come from Bristol Bay to Anchorage, they go to Anchorage to Florida to Georgia for these internships. So that's good to hear that even though you were far away, you still had that support system. Everything seemed pretty effortless as far as getting around and all the logistics. I mean, it's hard when you come somewhere you don't know anybody. Although I know, Marissa, you had your grandparents here, didn't you? That must have been nice.
Yes, I did, and I stayed with them for a little bit of the internship too, and having them here was really helpful. But I also lived with another intern who worked in shareholder development at the time, and that also helped because we lived together and did things together a lot.
Yeah, definitely. That's so good to hear. Okay, next question. What skills did you develop during your time here, and how have they benefited you?
I learned a bunch of skills when I was there over the summer, but especially copy editing. We worked a lot on the annual report towards the end of the summer, and we also worked on newsletters and stuff like that. And the copy editing skills I learned from that, I have taken with me in my job since then. Also, we learned communication strategies, and I got to do the intern spotlights. That was a lot of fun, filming different videos of the interns and editing it together for Instagram. And just the culture camp, the video production I used during that time, and all of the gear that I got to work with, that experience was also very helpful for me in my endeavors since then.
For me, this was my first office job, so I didn't have a lot of the networking, and I didn't know that I needed to be actually on time every day. That's pretty important. So I definitely learned time management skills and networking, how to have conversations with people. I feel like that's not something that came very naturally to me, so I learned how to do that. And it's helped a lot. In college, it's helped me get positions that I probably wouldn't have if I didn't learn that.
Audrey, you touched on it a little bit in our last question, but what have been some challenges you've faced as an intern, and how have you overcome them, and how have they shaped you in your professional career?
Definitely being quiet and actually sharing my thoughts and asking questions. Asking questions is super important, because if you don't, then you have no idea what you're doing. And I think Rebecca helped me a lot with that. She helped get me out of my shell, and now I'm not afraid to ask questions or share my opinion. Those skills helped me get a position at my college where I'm in a student leadership position, and I advocate for the Indigenous students at Fort Lewis.
That's amazing.
That is so cool. That's awesome.
Audrey mentioned this earlier in response to the last question, but BBNC was also my first office job, and it was my first time ever working a 9-to-5 schedule. So that was kind of a learning curve to me, going from college full-time to working a 9-to-5 schedule. Like, it's a very different schedule. It was a challenge learning new skills like WordPress I had never used before I got to BBNC, and all the copy editing that we did, I had never had experience with that. I minored in communications, but BBNC was my first time getting hands-on skills surrounding that, so I definitely struggled with learning that at first.
Yeah, I agree. I love talking to interns because I was also an intern in 2017. Then I ended up getting hired here full time. But that was my first office job too. And you're right, it's like such a learning curve. I went back to school. I only had 6 months left when I had my internship. So I was in college for like 3.5, actually it ended up being longer. It was like 6.5 years. It took me a while to get my bachelor's. But you only learn so much in school. And then when you're actually like in a corporate setting, you learn so much just like 1 week, 1 month. It's insane like how much you learn and how many different skills you can acquire in just a short amount of time. I mean, interns are normally here for the summer, like 3 months.
Yeah.
So it's good to hear that you guys have taken those skills and applied them to, the outside world. All right, ladies, what are your plans for the future, and how do you see your time with BBNC influencing those plans?
So I'm currently double majoring in environmental conservation and management and Native American Indigenous studies. And once I get my degree, I want to come back home and help villages that are like on the forefront of climate change, facing permafrost degradation and coastal erosion and things like that. And BBNC, like the culture camp especially, helped me realize that was what I wanted to do, because we went to Igiugig for our culture camp the first 2 years I went, and I got to talk to Alexandra Salmon and Christina Salmon and the things they're doing in Igiugig to be more sustainable and like environmentally friendly. It sparked my passion for all of that stuff.
Wow,
so
awesome.
BBNC kind of shaped what I want to do in life.
Yeah, cool. How about you, Marissa?
So since leaving BBNC, I wanted to mention that I was a communications specialist, and I would not have applied and gone for that job if I didn't have my communications intern experience that I did have. So I just wanted to say that. But my future plans, I actually just applied for a master's program in strategic communications. And I also would not have done that. So I'm very excited for that. I also wouldn't have done that if I didn't have the communications experience. Like, being an intern definitely led me down that path of following in communications. So yeah, I have applied for a master's in that, and I want to continue working in some sort of communications field following that. I'm not sure exactly where I want to specialize yet, but yes, I want to continue in communications.
Wow, congrats, Marissa.
Do you guys have any memories or favorite experiences from your time at BBNC?
I've mentioned this so many times, but culture camp was an amazing experience that I will never forget, and I'm very grateful that I was able to go to that experience. I was actually just talking to my grandparents the other day. It's been 3 years since I've done my internship. I'm getting all the memories coming up from that time, and culture camp was definitely the top of that experience. But also another cool thing was the summer of 2021 was when we were launching the partnership with the Seattle Kraken. So going to the press events for that was really cool, and taking pictures of the event was really big for me at the time. So really excited I got to do that.
I agree with Marissa. Definitely culture camp is my favorite experience, like, of all time. One of my favorite memories from culture camp was we were in this like bug tent and there was a mouse and I didn't say anything because like there were some aunties in the tent. And then they saw it and started freaking out and it was so funny.
That is so funny. What aunties, can we ask?
Fran. And then Agatha, she doesn't work at BBNC, but she was at camp. Yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Kind of going along, well, not with your story, but with things that you experienced. Did you guys experience any new foods?
Yeah, lots. I got to try lots of my traditional foods because, so my little sister is like super allergic to fish, so we don't get to eat fish in our household. So just even like the salmon dip that they'll make for like a morning snack. But then I got to try seagull eggs like last week. That was super cool. Just like so many different things.
How do you like the seagull eggs?
It was good.
Yeah. It kind of just tastes like a regular egg, right?
Yeah. It's just like a little bit denser.
Yeah. When I was an intern, I first had muktuk. And we ended up putting it in the microwave and I put like a little salt on it. I'll probably say that that's my only time I'll eat it, but it was cool to like just try it, you know, dip it in a little seal oil.
Yeah.
I also got to try mer eggs. Those are the ones with like I think the blue like speckled on the outside, and those were good too. Yeah, it's cool that employees just will, you know, go subsist and then come in and bring in their, their eggs and their salmon, and then they share it, which is like a huge part of Native culture. Love that.
What about you, Marissa?
I tried a lot of things that were new. Like, believe it or not, you don't really get a lot of access to, say, muktuk living in Alabama. There's really none of that here. I got to try muktuk. I also got to try mer eggs. Everything that I tried was okay. I think it's because I haven't been grown up around it. So my grandma did provide with a lot of native foods down here, especially fish. We had a lot of canned salmon, so I'm a salmon lover through and through. But the muktuk, to me, kind of was a little chewy, but I enjoyed it.
I tried muktuk for the first time here at BBNC, and I didn't have the microwaved muktuk. Denise always has some saved that's like not microwaved, just raw. And I tried that and it was actually really good. I was kind of scared because I've heard a lot of mixed reviews, but it just like melted in my mouth and I was like,
wow, that's awesome.
Delicious.
To me, when I microwaved it and put salt on it, it almost tasted like a hard-boiled egg, kind of. Like it was kind of like that texture.
I like the taste of it, but I can't do the texture. It's like crunchy, chewy, but not really crunchy. But yeah, I don't know.
I also really loved all the fresh berries that I got to try there. I had never had salmon berries before, and that was so yummy to me.
Oh my gosh, salmonberry agudak is my favorite.
So good.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to learn how to make aguda too during one of our internship meetings, and that was really fun.
What about Eskimo yo-yo, Marissa? Did you ever do that when you were an intern?
Yes, and I also made one at Culture Camp, and I have it right next to me in my bedside table. We did the International Yo-Yo Day thing.
Oh, yeah. What about you, Audrey? Do you know how?
Yeah. I started like 3 different Eskimo yo-yo projects last year at camp, and I don't know if I finished any of them, but I got to try, and I was really bad at it last year. And then this year, it was International Yo-Yo Day, so I tried, and I got it on the first try.
Nice.
I don't know, I like could not do it last year, and then this year was like easy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What did you guys make the Eskimo yo-yos out of?
Calf skin.
Okay.
Mine is felt, I think.
There were some felt ones and some calfskin ones. We had to make the kits last year.
Cool.
I have a question for Audrey. Did you make a drum when you went to camp?
I did.
What did you paint on it?
I didn't paint anything on it, but I had everyone at the camp sign the inside of the rim.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
And I bring it to school with me, bringing them everywhere I go.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, do you have any advice for our interns that will be with us this summer? I think we have about 12 or so, if not more.
Oh, wow. Across the company?
Yeah, not just at our corporate office, but all around.
Make the most of it. Try new things. That's always a big one. If you have an opportunity, take it and ask lots of questions. Even if it feels like it might not be a good question, there's no such thing as a bad question, as Rebecca says.
Love that.
Enjoy your time there. I think it's a great learning experience, especially if you're still in college. Like we've all said, it was our first office experience. So I think really enjoy it because it'll kind of pave the way for any other further jobs that you want to do. I also think you need to make use of the resources and all of the people that work in BBNC. Like, everybody is there to help and guide you, and everybody will answer any questions that you have. So really enjoy working in that environment.
As we wrap up, what would you say to someone that's thinking about joining the BBNC internship program? So maybe they're not sure yet, or they're thinking about it. Maybe they're on the fence about signing up. What would you say to them?
I would say to apply for the internship and don't think twice about it. The experiences and the skills and just the work environment of being an intern at BBNC is an opportunity that I think everybody should do if they're in the position that they can apply for that. So definitely do it. You don't want to miss out on being an intern.
I agree. Just do it, because every day I go home and I just feel so grateful that I get to work for my native corporation, because I'm surrounded by people who understand Indigenous values. I have family here too, so that's fun. I do think it's a great experience.
I think that Butchie is also a really good resource, because when an intern applies for an internship, when you interview with Butchie, she'll look at different departments that would be good for each intern. And sometimes there are like 4 or 5 different departments that an intern could be interested in. And so the intern's also interviewing those supervisors to see if that internship would be good. So maybe you do an interview with communications, maybe you do one with accounting. Like, you're never going to know what you're interested in until you try it, you know?
Yeah, that's great advice.
I also want to mention that every week Butchie puts on a Leadership Friday session, which have been super helpful. Like last week we did networking. There's a bunch of different topics, and they're for like career development, professional development, and then there's also super fun ones. It's a good experience.
Yeah, I love the Leadership Fridays, and they've come a long way from when I was an intern. When I was an intern, I remember learning topics about ANCSA, even like financial stuff that you just don't really realize is important. So it's not only about like work stuff, it's also about personal stuff, which is cool. I don't know if the interns are doing it this year, but I know they try to do some kind of outing. And I know last year they did like the conservation center. So they were able to get out and do something fun and not just be in the office all day, which is fun.
Well, moral of the story is, if you're thinking about doing the BBNC internship, just do it.
Just do it.
And if you're not thinking about it, think about it.
Think about it and then do it.
Marissa, Audrey, do you guys have anything else that you want to mention? Anything that popped up?
Koyana for inviting me. Shout out, Mom.
Oh,
Love you, Mom.
I just wanted to thank you for having me, and it was nice to meet you, Audrey, virtually.
Yeah, good to meet you too.
All right, well, that's all we have for this episode. Thank you, Audrey. Thank you, Marissa, for your insight, and we really appreciate you sharing with those that are listening, and we will see you next time.
We are the legacy of our elders, each of us unique, with gifts to give and histories to make. Our resilience will carry our voices forward to build the future our elders imagined. We are the next generation of Bristol Bay Native Corporation shareholders, and we share so much more than a corporation.